Live from the corporation headquarters at the Broadcasting House in Nairobi, my name is Edward Kabasa with Channel 1 News Hour on a day that Chief Justice David Maraga gave his final address on the status of the judiciary. We have a comprehensive coverage of that plus so much more. But first, let's have the highlights. Chief Justice David Maraga decries failure by the President to appoint 41 judges recommended by the Judicial Service Commission. Cases of COVID-19 infections on the rise, with 1,555 new cases confirmed out of 9,389 tested in the last 24 hours. And 2 businessmen in police custody in Nairobi over fake gold smuggling syndicate. Once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. This broadcast is streaming on YouTube on KBC Channel 1 channel. It is also available on Facebook, KBC Channel 1 TV. On Twitter, you can interact with us as well at KBC Channel 1. Lucy Mora is handling the sign language interpretation for us tonight. Welcome to the program. Chief Justice David Maraga has taken issue with the President for failing to appoint the 41 judges recommended by the Judicial Service Commission. While delivering his last State of the Judiciary address at the Supreme Court, Maraga said the President has no residual legal power to question or reject names recommended to him by the JSC, but to appoint them. The Chief Justice, who is said to leave office in January next year, used the event to seek forgiveness from those he has wronged and forgave those who may have rubbed him the wrong way, saying his difference of opinion with the head of state should not be viewed as personal.
While giving the scorecard on the progress made by the judiciary in discharging its mandate, the Chief Justice said the judiciary has made significant strides despite difficult circumstances, including interference of the judiciary, disobedience of court orders, and severe budgetary cuts. Tension between the executive and the judiciary taking the center stage of the official launch of the 2019-2020 State of Judiciary and Administration of Justice report, with Chief Justice David Maraga saying there was no bad blood between him and the President, but only difference in opinion.
To the contrary, as you know, Mr. President, I have given you respect as our head of state. Why would I want to fight you, as some people are suggesting? I am apolitical, and I hold no brief for any politician. The security and the intelligence services can assure you of that, and I'm sure they have assured you of that.
While lamenting over a myriad of frustrations afflicting the judiciary, the Chief Justice took issue with the President for failing to appoint the 41 judges recommended by the Judicial Service Commission, saying it has resulted to backlog of court cases.
Despite this clear provision and the 3 court orders, the President has failed to appoint the 41 judges, now 40 because one of them has since died. Both the High Court and the Court of Appeal have been categorical that the President has no residual legal power to question or reject the names recommended to him by JSC, but to appoint them. I continue to urge the President to appoint those judges without any further delay.
In what he termed as efforts to control the judiciary, Maraga, who is set to retire in January 2021, said his strained relationship with the executive led to only 47% of the judiciary financial requests being honored by the Treasury.
The High Court rendered its decision on the issue of the constitutionality of the Constituency Development Fund. Parliament threatened to reduce the judiciary budget. When, in September 2017, the majority of the Supreme Court nullified the presidential election, it is on record that the President threatened to revisit And the following financial year, we saw a reduction of the development vote of the judiciary budget from 2.1 billion to a paltry 50 million shillings.
For Maraga, as of June 2020, the judiciary was struggling to offset 617,582 cases, which will take 2 years to clear if hypothetically no other case is filed.
It was my singular honor and privilege to be of service to you as your Chief Justice. If in any way I annoyed you or I did not live up to your expectation, please understand that I'm only human and forgive me. Though I did not achieve what I planned to do, I retire a very happy man.
He singled out that the state of disobedience of court orders is sickening, saying it was unfortunate that even the police have taken the cue of trying to interrogate such directives. But Maraga says he was walking out of the corridors of justice shoulder high, lauding the encouragement he received from across the divide, urging judges to stand with fidelity, and they are the only hope of Kenyans. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Thank you, Ben Chumba, for that report. Police attached to the Serious Crime Unit are holding 2 businessmen in connection with the gold smuggling syndicate. According to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, officers drawn from the unit smashed the fake gold syndicate on Thursday evening, arresting the 2 traders who are accused of swindling a foreigner of a substantial amount of money.
The duo, who are directors of Airlink Freight Limited, were arrested after their victim, a national from Burkina Faso, filed a complaint at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations (DCI), claiming he had been swindled by the suspects, who claimed they could sell him gold between October 27th and November 16th this year. Detectives are now appealing to any other person who might have fallen victim to the syndicate to file a report at the SCU offices at Mazingira Complex along Kiambu Road. Meanwhile, the suspects arrested in connection with the syndicate were Friday presented in court under a miscellaneous application. Jackson Mainandirangu, Awiyene Mbombo Eric, Zachary Namakola, Jean Cloud Munyampara, and Amani Patrick Mbuluku are accused of defrauding Alassane Burkinabe and Aziz Bonkongo, who are joint directors of Bonkongo Industries, a company dealing with selling and buying of gold, 5.3 million shillings. Senior Principal Magistrate Kenneth Cheriot granted the prosecution 3 days to hold the suspects to allow for the completion of investigations, including identification. The suspects will be remanded at the Muthaiga police station.
Let's take a look at matters coronavirus, where cases of COVID-19 infections continue to rise in the country. On Friday, Kenya recording its highest number of positive cases at 1,554 from a sample size of 9,389 tested in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health says 14 more patients succumbed to the virus in the same period. The surging numbers are being recorded as the Ministry of Health confirms cases of use of fake COVID-19 certificates at countries' points of entry.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has issued a stern warning against Kenyans who are trying to sneak out of the country using false COVID-19 certificates. In a statement to Newsroom, Kagwe says the ministry is aware of such mischievous behavior, which he says may spoil the diplomatic relations between Kenya and other nations. The Ministry of Health has, however, vowed not to relent in enforcing the COVID-19 protocols at the entry points. This comes as the country Friday recorded its highest number of COVID-19 positive cases. Out of a sample size of 9,389 people tested in the last 24 hours, 1,554 were confirmed to have contracted the virus. Total caseload now stands at 81,656. Out of the new infections, the youngest is a 5-month-old baby, while the oldest is a 97-year-old. In the same period, 14 patients succumbed to the virus, bringing to 1,441 total fatalities. Top 5 counties that recorded the highest number of infections on Friday are Nairobi, which is leading with 546, Mombasa 159, Kilifi 153, Kiambu 96, and Kericho at 68. The statistics from the Ministry of Health also indicate that 599 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, 476 from home-based care, and 123 discharged from various hospitals. Total recoveries now stand at 54,125. 1,200 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities across the country. However, another 7,521 are on home-based isolation and care. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
And in other matters, Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa took the Building Bridges Initiative gospel to Siaya County, where he challenged the locals to sign up for the document, saying it will help improve services at the grassroots. Wamalwa added that the country is ripe for constitutional change and requires the support of all Kenyans.
Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, who was in Siaya County, challenged area locals to accept and sign up the document, saying it will revolutionize the devolution system in Kenya.
Sasa tunataka mkipanda miti pia muweke sahihi hiyo BBI. Sawa sawa? Yes. Ili pesa zaidi zije hapa Siaya. From 15% to 35%. We want more resources coming to our counties ili tuweze kutengeneza mambo ya maendeleo katika kila county ya Kenya.
Meanwhile, KANU party leader Senator Gideon Moi was in Migori County to push for BBI signature collection. Gideon said the Building Bridges initiative will be the key to unlock KANU fortunes in the next general elections. He added the party's recent membership drive and delegates meeting will help them gain ground in to push through the report, especially in the Rift Valley.
Usipokuwa kwa hii mrengo ambayo ile nasaidia wananchi, utajipata kwa hali mbaya uko mbele. And we want to be in government. Sisi zote. The next dispensation. Sababu kama unakosa wakati wengine wanakata nyama, ndio utabakisha na nini?
Narok North Member of Parliament Moitalel Olekenta, who led a similar exercise, urged locals to turn out in large numbers and back the draft, emphasizing that all necessary amendments have been made. Olekenta said the Maasai community will be on the front line in drumming up support for the draft, as it would lead the country in correcting historical land injustices. He maintained that the BBI report will assist future generations in governance and in turn avoid trouble as witnessed in Mau Forest, where squatters encroached into the water catchment area.
Ile tu ningeomba watu wa Narok wote, hii katiba sio ya kabila moja, ni ya watu wote, wajitokeze wa sign. Ile tu kingine ningesema ni kwamba sisi kama jamii ya Wamasai tunasimama na hii initiative, kwa sababu kuna kipengele ambazo zinasema ardhi ya jamii haitachukuliwa tena kiholela vile imekuwa ikiendelea.
In Kiambu, Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria has threatened to join the No campaign against the Building Bridges Initiative report. According to the outspoken legislator, the report does not capture issues affecting the common Kenyan and is instead seeking to overburden taxpayers by increasing the number of parliamentarians.
Na mimi nataka kumuuliza rais wetu, muda haujaisha. Kabla hizo signature zirudishwe huko, hawa watu rekebisha hiyo maneno. Usiongeze mzigo, tunasema ni wakati wa kupunguza mzigo wa mwananchi. Kama hawata sikia hiyo, mimi ni Mkatoliki na kanisa yangu imeongea, na mimi nitasikiliza kanisa.
So what we are saying within BBI is tunamaliza uchaguzi, kunakuwa na watu wote wameingia kwa serikali, alafu tufikirie mambo ya economy, tufikirie mambo ya jobs. Kwa hivyo hii BBI imekuja kutusaidia na itakuwa the best legacy the president can leave for us.
Finally, former nominated Senator Paul Njoroge has called on people living with disabilities to oppose the Building Bridges initiative, saying it isn't helpful to them. Speaking in Kitengela, Senator Njoroge said he will spearhead opposing campaigns in the forthcoming referendum.
You are watching Channel 1 News Hour. We are taking a short break. Don't go anywhere. Plus, if you have time, you can take a look at the website, kbc.co.ke. A number of stories have been posted there. There is that of Chief Justice David Maraga, who issued the State of the Judiciary address today. Maraga is expected to retire in January, having served as the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court since 2016. There, Maraga saying that BBI shouldn't compromise the independence of the judiciary. There is also the story on the country's record coronavirus cases, which were reported by the Ministry of Health today. 1,554 people testing positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. That story is also there. There is also a story about the government being challenged to address concerns raised by healthcare workers. We are taking a very short break. We'll be right back.
Beginning of the year, nobody knew about this pandemic. Sometime in March, people started realizing that this is a problem. China, which is the largest producer of masks, with orders from all over the world, could not supply, and the prices shot up 100 shillings. At that time, when such an incident happened, everybody has to come together, like Equity Foundation came and saying, let's try and help. They said this is what they require, give us a pricing, and eventually they started distributing to all the hospitals. We imported 20 machines to make 200,000 masks a day. In the first week of April, we were producing about 150 to 200,000 masks a day. Currently, we are producing over 500,000 a day at 6, 7, 8 shillings a mask. Equity Foundation has done a phenomenal job. They put the producers, the suppliers, and the people who are using it together. Right now, if you go to any hospital, Mararal, Marsabit, Lamu, all the hospitals, everywhere, everybody's got PP.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola.
It is an all-Egyptian affair and a first for CAF as two home teams face each other in the final of the 2020 CAF Champions League. Al Ahly will be all out to maintain their dominance in the elite African clubs competition against their arch-rivals Zamalek, who are raring for a fight to the death. You cannot afford to miss this thriller on the 27th of November only on your true sports partner, KBC Channel 1 from 10 p.m. We have a lot in store for you. Be on the lookout.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
My trust is in you.
Good evening. If you're just joining us, this is Channel 1 News Hour. My name is Edward Kabasa. Human rights defenders in the country have raised concerns over the increased cases of gender-based violence in the society. The group claims gender-based violence incidents have escalated during the COVID-19 pandemic period, partially owing to the hard economic times. The human rights defenders decried that the novel coronavirus pandemic has made it difficult to reach out to those in need of their help.
It is at the Human Rights Defenders Awards ceremony that the civil society groups lamented the increased number of gender-based violence cases perpetrated against the female gender. Speaking at the event, Human Rights Defender Director Kamau Ngugi called on its members to play the lead role in defending the most vulnerable in the society.
We have also seen, because of the pandemic, there is a growing appetite, particularly among the male gender, to physically attack and violate the rights of young girls and women. So on that note, we really have to up our game in monitoring the violations that we call sexual and gender-based that are increasingly becoming the norm in our communities.
So this last week of November marks both the International Day on the Elimination of Violence Against Women and the International Women Human Rights Defenders Day on Sunday. So we're hoping that this can serve as an inspiration for us to continue to work jointly to protect and advance the rights of women and girls.
With the coronavirus pandemic affecting services of many sectors, the human rights defenders say that it has been more dangerous too for them to carry their functions, with a section of them facing intimidation and arrests.
Please ensure you provide a platform for all the human rights defenders in your different panelists so that we are able to get a space to educate the public, to make the public understand why the kind of work we do is risky.
This, as several civil society groups were honored at the event, with the late Abubakar Ali, who passed on July this year, being awarded the Munir Mazrui Lifetime Achievement for his environmental activism in Lamu County.
He was working to ensure that and advocating the right for his community to ensure that the future generation will have a safe and clean environment to call home.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
The High Court has allowed the burial of the late Matungu Member of Parliament Justice Murunga to take place on Saturday or any other day the family is comfortable with. Additionally, the court has allowed DNA samples be collected from the late MP's body to confirm the paternity of 2 children allegedly sired by him. Details of this and more in the county news briefs.
The High Court in Nairobi has allowed DNA samples collected from former Matungu Member of Parliament Justice Murunga's body. This is after a woman claimed her 2 children were sired by the MP and wanted his interment delayed until a DNA is conducted. This follows an application from involved parties to have their own pathologists. The court has allowed the body of the late MP to be released on Saturday for burial or any other day the family wishes.
Nashukuru magistrate ambaye amekuwa na hii case kwa ruling ambayo imefanywa siku ya leo. Ni ruling ambayo imefanya sisi kama wachane.
Nashukuru Mungu kwa ajili ya ruling ambayo imefanyika leo. Nashukuru lawyer wetu Patrick Luther, na pia nashukuru magistrate ambaye amehandle hiyo case. Amefanya kesi kulingana na vile ilitakikana iwe.
Meanwhile, the Anti-Corruption Court Magistrate Douglas Ogoti has dismissed an application by former State House Digital Director Dennis Itumbi. Itumbi had sought to be allowed to prosecute Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i over the Ruaraka land case. The court says Itumbi has failed to explain how he accessed the information in his affidavits intended to be used as evidence against the Interior CS.
The court finds that the applicant's application dated 18th November 2020 failed to meet both the constitutional and legal threshold that would give this court the necessary authority to grant permission to the applicant in order to enable him initiate private prosecution proceedings against the first respondent. The upshot of the matter is that the said application stands dismissed.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Power Company has embarked on a campaign to sensitize electricity consumers on the proper channels and process of getting connected to the national grid. Kenya Power Nakuru County Business Manager Henry Pwani says Njoro constituency has emerged as one of the sub-counties with illegal connections. In Kirinyaga County, residents are raising concerns over increased insecurity. This as they attribute the lapses to the police. Locals claim unknown individuals raid shops in the night at the town's bus park.
Tumeimbiwa huku na wesi ni kwamba wamesoea wavuji milango ama nini, wanakata mabati wanaingia na rufu huku wanachukua vitu. Wameimba duka mbili huku, wakaimba simu na accessories na vitu za stima, wameimba mpaka TV na maufas. Sasa ningeomba serikali tuwekee ulinzi wa kutosha katika huu msimu wa Disemba.
And residents of Liwatoni, Ganjoni constituency in Mombasa County are up in arms over the construction of a matatu terminal aimed to supplement transport services after the completion of the Likoni footbridge. The residents, accompanied by Mombasa Senator Mohamed Faki, claimed the move by Kenha will encourage criminal activities, increase noise pollution in the quiet suburb. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1.
Holidays. What a time. Ever just look. Hey, Daddy. I tell you. Drama lives here. How am I, Junior? You never know what they're learning.
Choose DSTV for only 3,999 Kenya shillings, includes HD decoder and dish kit. Whatever your Christmas, it's your moment. And this festive season, itakuwa nzuri zaidi.
Haya! Mtumishi! Ni wewe?
Ni mimi.
Ulitoa pikipiki?
Mulitani sitaomoka. Ni yako. Hii nduti ni yangu. Niliwahi pale Quickbit.
Quickbit?
Quickbit imekuja kusaidia wananchi kama sisi. Nilinunua 399 shillings juu nilikuwa the lowest unique bidder.
399 shillings.
Quickbit shilingi moja unaweza nunua free. Shilingi mbili unaweza nunua micro. Shilingi tano unaweza nunua hata gari.
So tupeleke huko hata
mtu aendi huko.
Jiunga na Quickbit ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbit.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. Quickbit, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Next on.
Through Equity Group, the first batch of PPEs has been distributed to all the counties.
In the beginning, you were so loving and affectionate, right? But now you keep on canceling plans with me.
Okay, be careful. You're not just handling any ordinary thing, you know.
What about our wedding?
Are you telling me we're getting married?
Someone in here, Mr. Antonio, meddled in that car.
They really feel that support from Equity because they didn't know where the protective gear will come. They are really appreciative about it.
Welcome back. Time for business. The Nairobi High Court has ordered Safaricom and Jamii Telecom to pull down and disable 141 online streaming sites suspected to be broadcasting content that MultiChoice Kenya has rights to in Kenya. Justice Wilfrida Okwany allowed the prayer by MultiChoice Kenya to have the websites illegally broadcasting copyrighted content pulled down as per Section 35D, subsection 2 of the Copyright Act, pending full hearing of the case that is set for next year in March.
Increased internet penetration and uptake of smartphones has seen cases of cyber attacks and illegal internet use increase. Content makers have in the recent years been complaining about illegal access and even broadcast of copyrighted content. Pay TV provider MultiChoice Kenya has taken the fight to the courts, riding on the impetus of the coming into force of the Copyright Act 2019 that is expected to help in addressing such disputes. In Kenya, MultiChoice Kenya has exclusive rights to broadcast or offer online live football matches from popular English Premier League, Series A and Champions League, as well as movies from different production houses. MultiChoice Kenya is concerned that while it pays for rights for this content that it offers on its television and online subscription platforms in the sub-Saharan African region, Kenya included, some websites have been offering such content for free, hence disadvantaging those who subscribe for the content as well as content makers keen to earn from it. MultiChoice Kenya believes internet service providers have a role to play in either abating or stopping illegal streaming of copyrighted content. MultiChoice Kenya has obtained orders from the court to have Safaricom and Joby Telcom stop 141 online streaming sites from offering copyrighted content in Kenya, such as live football, movies, as well as programs targeting children. Section 35B of the Copyright Act, as amended in 2019, reads in part, a person whose rights have been infringed by content to which access is being offered by an internet service provider may request by way of a takedown notice that the ISP removes their infringing content. Regina Manyara reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Let's take a look at some sports news now, where the Ministry of Sports has given some federations the green light to have their local top-tier leagues go on, but under strict COVID-19 prevention measures. Through a statement that was sent to media houses, all low-risk contact sports, including football, hockey, netball, volleyball and basketball, have been allowed to resume their activities by observing containment measures. Meanwhile, high-risk contact sports will remain suspended, including, among others, boxing, judo, karate, taekwondo and chess. The ministry has also directed all sporting activities be played without spectators. National teams have been allowed to resume their normal training in preparation for upcoming international events. Benson Achieng scored and added time winner as Kenya's Rising Stars secured their second consecutive win against Sudan in the ongoing CECAFA Under-20 Championships in Tanzania. 2 days after thrashing Ethiopia 3-0 in their opening encounter, Kenya secured a narrow 2-1 victory over Sudan today, going ahead in the 56th minute through Fortune Omoto. That lead lasted until the 84th minute as Sudan equalized through Gozoli Nu. And just when it seemed like the match was headed for a draw, Ochieng snatched a goal at the death to hand Kenya a second straight win of the tournament. In other matters, National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOCK, has unveiled plans to increase its budget for its affiliates owing to the widespread of the coronavirus. The NOCK President, Paul Tergat, who was speaking during the committee's General Assembly held in Nairobi today, disclosed that a meeting to decide on what budget to work on will be held sometimes next week. A budget of 600 million shillings was approved by National Olympic Committee of Kenya early this year towards preparations for national teams that will feature in the proposed postponed 2020 Tokyo Olympics. According to Tergat, next year's budget will increase due to the impact of coronavirus pandemic.
We all know that we had actually had a budget before, and now look like things is going to change more dramatically. So based on this COVID, where most of even sponsors, which we are trying to reach out to as soon as possible. So we are still there. So the most important thing is that we want maybe as soon as possible to have a meetings with the government, so that we can be able maybe to have a roadmap on the same in terms of preparation of our teams for delayed 2020 Olympics for next year.
We need a unity to be able to develop sport in this country. And these are the most important for all of us, that we put our head together and discuss how we can improve sport in our country.
We were allowed to resume training within a bubble, which means we have to test the players and then after that make sure that they stay isolated. This is a very expensive exercise, and as a federation we are not able, because what it entails keeping the 25 members of the provisional team in a camp and in a residential camp, plus also a gym. These are things that we have talked with the National Olympic Committee.
We have already selected the teams. What we are doing now is to work out the modalities on how they are going to train in their various areas. I think by next week we will have devised the system of training so that they can continue. We will make a decision whether we reduce the number of camps and select them, especially the sprints and the field events, to see where they can put them.
That does it for us for this edition of Channel One News Hour. We do thank you very much for joining us tonight. And the weather forecast is coming up next. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Mora. Do stay up to date with breaking news on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 and also on our website www.kbc.co.ke. Have a good night.
Right, Friday it is. I hope you're well from wherever you are. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. This is Channel 1 Weather Update. Thank you for your time. It's one of those nights that most parts of the country have been covered with scattered wet conditions. The only region that is experiencing partly cloudy conditions is the northwestern parts of the country, where dry weather conditions are prevailing, and that is how the night will be. Tomorrow, waking up to rains over most parts of the country. This will affect the capital, Meru, Nyeri, Machakos, Makindu. The coastal strip will also experience showers. The northeastern parts of the country, Mandera, Marsabit, Wajir, will experience rains during the morning hours. A few areas in the county of Samburu will experience rains during the morning hours. Also, a few areas along the border of Kenya and South Sudan will also experience wet conditions during the morning hours. The western sector and Lake Basin region will largely experience sunny intervals during the morning hours, but there will be rains of a few places in Eldoret, and also Nakuru will be affected. In the afternoon, we'll see changes which will largely affect the western parts of the country. These will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms and will largely affect Kisumu, Kakamega, Bungoma, Kisii, Kitale. The northwestern parts of the country will continue to experience sunny intervals. Only a few areas will experience showers. The northeastern will experience showers over several places, equally at the coastal strip and southeastern lowlands. That means Machakos, Makindu, Voi, Nairobi, Meru, and Nyeri will experience showers during the afternoon hours. The highest temperatures across the country will be experienced in Mandera at 35 degrees Celsius. Temperatures have slightly gone up in the capital compared to what we had experienced today. Tomorrow we're expecting highs of 25 degrees Celsius. Later we'll experience highs of 34 degrees Celsius. How about you cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast? Be well. See you tomorrow. God willing.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 22 7428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
KBC Channel 1 evokes the full potential of worship in you.
You are the living God.
You waited for me, just for me.
Join us for an experience like no other when it comes to lifting your soul and giving adoration.
We are here for you. Tasimama tena, tainuka tena.
Worship experience. Praise mix. Next on
Jesus loves you, he cares for you.
Kila siku wananiwinda, wanataka kuniweka chini, lakini kwa nguvu zako Baba ni wewe. Kenye ilinifanya nianze kuimba, niliona my dad akiimba na mimi nikatamani pia kufanya. I like my outfit because it's a way of cleaning environment.
Jesus has been a king of your dog. It time you find it's not enough space. He would really like to dwell in your heart, but they are not even space.
this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Kinyanjui, what are you doing? What does it look like I am doing? Atito, I have never been this petty. This is what is called business.
Those are expensive gadgets.
Sick. Talk of selfish. I thought mothers were supposed to be taking care of their children and kids.
Until when they get old, then you become the mom.
But I am not old enough. I don't want to be a mom. How can I be a mommy to my mommy and a mommy to my brother?
Mr. Tisha, did we offend you?
Why would you think that, huh? This is not the time for stories, Kinandri.
This is so boring.
Common law.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Put it on my vision board and I said, God, I want something that will make me proud of me being a Nigerian and be a blockbuster, that everybody will see Africa in such a beautiful way that it is. And so when Black Panther came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it.
After more than 25 years of marriage, James and Tripina relish date night. They reminisce on how their love story began.
I fell in love with him because his heart was after God, and that was something that was attractive to me.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say.
Na mtazamaji, ni siku nyingine tunajitosa hapa katika ulingo wa runinga ya KBC Channel 1 kukupeperushia uchanganuzi tu wa mechi ya klabu bingwa bara Afrika, fainali zile baina ya timu ya Zamalek dhidi ya Al Ahly. Je, nani atakayekuwa mshindi katika shughuli hii? Manake mengi yamesemwa. Kumbuka wawili hao kutana yao ni mara 215. Kwa hiyo yote Al Ahly wana uwezo, ndio manake waliweza kupata ushindi mara 91, huku Zamalek wakiweza kupata ushindi mara 50. Hapo ishara ipo, na hata ligi kuu nchini humo Ahly wanaonyesha uwezo mkubwa sana wa kuweza kushinda mechi hiyo baada ya kuonyesha kushinda mechi kadha wa kadha. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa tunaenda moja kwa moja kwa uchanganuzi tu. Niko hapa na Jared Odendo na vile vile Silva Francis. Mimi naitwa Mohamed Gaddafi. Kwa haraka niruhusu tuweze kuwatambua na tuweze kumbuka pia mtazamaji, kumradi leo hatukuachi bure. Kipo kitu. Tuna zawadi baada ya kuweza kubashiri swali letu ambalo nitakuwa na kupatia muda mfupi uweze kutuma ujumbe katika nambari fulani hapa, nitaweza kuisoma kisha uweze kutuma. Kumbuka washindi wa kwanza 7 wataweza kujishindia shilingi 1000 ambayo itaweza tumwa katika simu yako hapo kesho. Kwa hivyo utakuwa unasubiria. Kwa sasa niruhusu niweze kuwatambua wachambuzi wangu. Silva Francis ni mchanganuzi wa kabumbu humo nchini na vile vile pia ni mwanahabari. Hujambo Silva?
Nashukuru sana.
Na kulia kwangu niko na Jared Odendo ambaye pia yeye ni mchanganuzi katika meza ya michirizi na vile vile katika meza hii ya uchambuzi wa siku ya leo. Kwa haraka Silva, mechi ya leo unaiona vipi na unatarajia ushindi nani aweze kupata?
Siwezi kutaja moja kwa moja kwamba nani atashinda, lakini kwa mujibu wa vile vidokezo ambavyo umesema kwa wakati unaanza show yetu ya leo ni kwamba Al Ahly wana uwezo mkubwa wa kuweza kushinda mechi ya leo, lakini kwa sababu hii ni mechi ya fainali na timu zote mbili zina uwezo mkubwa. Kumbuka kwamba mechi ya fainali huwa ni ngumu sana. Kwa hivyo tutarajie ushindani mkubwa katika mechi ya leo, na mimi naamini kwamba timu zote mbili Al Ahly pamoja na Zamalek watapambana kufa kupona ili kuweza kuona nani anaweza kuibuka mshindi.
Jared Odendo, kwa haraka maoni yako kuhusu mechi ya saa?
Bila shaka bwana mwenyekiti, asante sana kwa hili swali. Jambo naweza kusema kwamba unajua hii ni dabi kubwa sana kule Misri, na naweza kusema kwamba unajua kwamba Al Ahly walipata kikombe cha mwisho mwaka 1914 ambapo ndio mara ya mwisho kupata kikombe ambacho ni kubwa sana, ambapo wako na wana njaa ya kikombe kikubwa kama hichi. Na vile vile ukiangalia Zamalek wako na hamu na gamu, wataka kulipisha kisasi, kwa sababu unajua kwamba hawa ndio namba 2 katika walikuwa namba 2 katika ligi kuu iliyoisha kule Misri, ambapo vile vile wataka kulipisha kisasi. Hapa ni ubabe, hapa ni vita, hapa sio kitu ambacho tunaweza kusema kwamba hata kama ni riziki kitako, la, watajituma. Kila timu hapa inaonekana kwamba watajituma kufa kupona kuhakikisha kwamba wametoka na kitu.
Naam, bila shaka tunaona wachezaji wakiingia katika uwanja. Kwa haraka mchezaji nani ameweza kubeba baina hawa wawili, nani ameweza kubeba ama kutoa taji hili mara nyingi kuliko mwingine? Kumbuka tunataja katika kipute kama hiki, kwa hivyo usitaje mambo ya ligi ama vipute vingine. Ni katika CAF Champions League. Kwa hivyo nambari ya simu kwa haraka chukua kalamu ni 0771 316 959 0771 316 959. Tuma ujumbe, usipige simu, tuma ujumbe na majaliwa tutakuwa tunasoma washindi wa kwanza ambao ni 7 na wataweza kupokea shilingi taslimu 1000 kwa kila mshindi baada ya kutumiwa kupitia kwa rununu yake hapo kesho. Wacha tuingie katika uchambuzi, manake tuangalia wachezaji tayari washaingia katika uwanja kipute hiki cha Zamalek dhidi ya Al Ahly. Kwa hivyo tunakuomba uweze kukaa hapo uweze kushuhudia, na nitarudia swali langu mtazamaji. Kwa kipute hiki Champions League final tunahusisha timu ya Zamalek dhidi ya timu ya Al Ahly. Hao wote ni mashemeji kutoka kule Misri. Je, nani amebeba ama ametoa ushindi wa kombe hili mara nyingi kuliko mwingine? Tuma ujumbe wako kwa 0771 316 959 9. Kwa wale ambao hawaelewi Kiswahili ni 0771316959. Nimesema mtazamaji, usipige simu, tuma ujumbe, kisha sisi tutasoma washindi wa kwanza 7. Wewe ukibashiri wa kwanza, kwa hivyo ninapozungumza saa hizi inafaa ushaanza kutuma jumbe. Wale watakaotuma ujumbe wa kwanza 7, tutaweza kuchukua nambari zao na tutaweza kuwasoma baada ya kipindi cha kwanza. Naitwa Mohamed Gaddafi, nikiangalia katika runinga naona washikadau wahusika katika mechi hii ya leo wameanza kuingia uwanjani, na ipo tetesi kwamba kipute hiki kinahusisha sana uzushi Silva. Leo wamejiandaa vipi haraka?
Nafikiria kwamba watu wamejiandaa vilivyo kwa sababu ya usalama wa wachezaji uwanjani na usalama wa kila kitu ambacho kitakuwa kinafanyika. Kwa hivyo ushindani ni mkubwa sana na hii ni dabi kubwa sana. Nakumbuka kwamba hii ndo mara ya kwanza kwa timu hizi kubwa mbili katika nchi ya Misri zinakutana katika kombe hili. Nakumbuka kwamba katika kuingia katika fainali za kombe hili zilitoa timu kubwa pia za kule Morocco, timu mbili ambazo ni Aywad Casablanca pamoja na Casablanca Morocco ambazo zilishiriki katika robo finali. Kwa hivyo kuingia katika finali hizi Al Ahly pamoja na Zamalek nafikiria kwamba wamejiandaa vizuri na usalama umeandaliwa vilivyo kwa sababu ya mambo ambayo yamekuwa kitokea pale nyuma kuanzia mwaka 2012. Kumbuka kwamba kulitokea kisanga ambapo visa vya watu kuuawa pale walikanyagana pale uwanjani. Kwa hivyo nafikiria kwamba usalama umewekwa pale uwanjani ili kuhakikisha kwamba mechi ya leo inakwenda pasipo na wasiwasi wowote.
Naam, wacha tuingie uwanjani tuone yanayoendelea kule Misri, uwanjani Cairo. Kipute ni baina ya Zamalek dhidi ya Al Ahly, au wote ni mashemeji kutoka Misri. Naitwa Mohamed Gaddafi, niko na Silva na Jared Odendo, tuwe pamoja hadi kipindi cha kwanza kikamilike.
Sometimes the best, sometimes the worst. Of course, there are no fans here, and we know that there's a very lot of anger against each other in certain circles, but the majority of the fans, they're just the bad ones. Most of the good ones, of course, will just be passionate about the beautiful game that we absolutely love, and who'll get behind their two clubs and try and usher them to victory with plenty of voice. That's what we're hoping today, but unfortunately no fans here at the stadium, all in front of your TV screens watching back home or in your clubs or wherever you are. And the fans of these two clubs all the way everywhere, right across the world. So we hope that we're going to have a really entertaining football match out here today, and I think that it should be the case. Just looking at the rivalry between these two teams, it's well, they love to battle against each other, of course, and that's something that we have seen over time and that we'll see in the future. It's very, very interesting indeed when you actually look at some of the matches that they played against each other over time. It's quite remarkable, to be perfectly frank with you. So 8-time winners for Ahly, of course. It's their 13th final. They managed to get to their last final in 2013, losing against Wydad Athletic Club. They won in 82, 87, 2001, 2005, 06, 08, 12, 2013. That was when they won. And the runners-up in 17 and 18, of course. And very present, very constantly there, aren't they, Ahly? And the last time that these two clubs met up in this competition was back in 2005 in the semi-finals, of course, and it was a 2-1 win for Ahly, and then a 2-0 win, of course, in the return match, and Imad Moteb getting one of those goals. Barakat, of course, remember him, and he getting himself on the score sheet in the return match as well, with Ahmar getting the single goal in that 2-1 loss. They did meet up again, but it was in the group stages, of course, but not in the semi-finals. First round and the fifth round, and it was a 2-1 win for Ahly in the group stage with the Angolan Flavio. Ahmed Hassan scoring the goals with Gamal Hamza for Zamalek. Hamza and Agogo scoring goals in a 2-2 draw with Flavio and Abu Trika in the return match of that 2008 competition. 2012, it was the group stage, and Abutrika, number 22 on the shirt, everybody familiar with that, scoring that late goal in the second round match in the group stage, and a 1-1 draw. Barakat and Mohamed Ibrahim scoring the other goals. 2013 quarterfinals, a 1-1 draw with Abutrika Ahmed Joafar scoring the goals, and 4-2 with Solomon, Abdel Zahir Abutrika Fati. Some incredible matches that have taken place. This is the man who will take this Zamalek team through this very important match, of course. Jamie Pacheco, second spell in charge of Zamalek, and didn't have a really great successful spell when he first turned up in October 2014 to replace Hossam Hassan, but he's hoping that he can do a little bit better now, having moved in and taken over the job from Patrice Carter on the Frenchman, who unexpectedly just left and went on a different path on his journey. The teams are coming out, the flags are coming out. We have the officials, we have a final, we have a big showdown here. It is the Total Gap African Champions League final here in Cairo. And we honestly hope that we will have some wonderful football played here tonight.